You're listening to American Medicine Today, presented by the Bonati Spine Institute, featuring the internationally acclaimed inventor of the Bonati Spine procedures, Alfred Bonati, MD. Once again, here are Dr. Bonati and your host, Kimberly Brumell.
Thanks for joining us on American Medicine Today. I'm Kimberly Brumell, joined by our friend Ethan Euchre.
Happy to be here.
And world-renowned orthopedic surgeon, Dr. Alfred Bonati of the Bonati Spine Institute.
Hello.
Man,
a few words. But he is, trust me, he's happy to be here, too.
He is.
I
Now,
don't think so.
on radio, so you guys aren't privy to what happens behind the scenes, but it's such an enjoyable group. Make sure you check out our stream. You can check it out on webeamtv.com.
Good thing they can't see what goes on between segments, though, because there's a lot of craziness.
But it's a lot of fun.
It's not worth airing. We don't want them seeing what's happening.
Oh, well, that may be true.
I'm not going to comment.
Because that's why.
You have to hand it to someone that breaks away from the status quo. When they have been taught what they're supposed to do via the textbook, but they get out into the real world, and the practical usage leaves a patient not remedied of their problem. It takes a very strong man or woman to break away from that mold and say, there's a problem, I'm not going to do this anymore, and I'm going to seek out another way of bringing patient pain resolution. And that's what Dr. Bonati did with the Bonati spine procedures. He started off in traditional open spine surgery, and he saw the results weren't there for his patients. He really became disheartened, and he left spine surgery. And he was one of the first to be trained by Wake Forest University in arthroscopy in other areas of the body. And because of him, you have the terminology that's associated with knee surgery, shoulder surgery, other things that people aren't aware of but are used on a daily basis. That's done by Dr. Bonati. During that time, he came up with the way to do spine surgery. And it was his patented tools, his patented methods for not only doing spine surgery, but also removing the hardware that people are confused into getting. There is no need to put rods, plates, screws, wire into one's back. Those are the things that need to be left in your toolbox and in the garage, not in your back. All the time, we see patients with screws that are mangled and tangled in the nerves. And what that does to someone is crippling. It is debilitating and crippling to those people, and they find true patient pain resolve once they undergo the Bonati spine procedures. 98.75% patient-reported success. We have an exciting show lined up. We're going to talk about senatorial candidate from Florida that's going up against Marco Rubio. He's going to be on the show. Ernie Rivera. We're going to talk about deception and Hillary Clinton, to be exact.
Yeah, everybody knows the story about how they tried to blame the Benghazi attacks
on a video,
on a YouTube video.
Yeah.
Well,
and they found the emails to say.
Yeah, that was completely fabricated.
You know what is funny? Nobody talks about what happened with that man that was accused.
I know.
Oh, okay.
But we will.
Everybody hides that.
Oh, we're going to get into that.
Well, we're going to expose the truth. And then, of course, you'll hear what's new in American medicine today. But up first,
In today's Back to Life segment, we will talk to a patient of the Bonati Spine Institute who went from living a life that was restricted by pain and discomfort through their journey of finding the Bonati Spine Institute and are now living pain-free.
it is my pleasure to introduce to the program from Titusville, Florida, Daniel Stroshine. Thank you for joining us.
Well, thank you for having me.
Absolutely. Now, you were a professional bodybuilder, correct?
I wouldn't say professional
Well,
just yet. I was working my way there.
you were working your way there. Okay. And then the other thing that I loved, well, I'll let you tell the story. I don't want to give away what this is, but yeah, spoiler alert. It's really interesting. So you started off bodybuilding in perfect health. What happened?
Well, I had to go back to the very beginning. I'm a NASA software architect, so I sit a lot during the day.
Mm-hmm.
So I decided to offset that by lifting weights, which led to my love of bodybuilding.
Okay.
Perfect health, like you said, once I got into that sport, I didn't take medicine. Everything was pure, clean food, exercise every day of the week.
Sure.
It was great. And in 2014, I got in a car accident with my wife on vacation, unfortunately.
Yeah.
And was in a pretty bad shape after that. A lot of pain in my lumbar and my neck, mostly numbness in my hands. I couldn't grip the weights. Typing was extremely difficult because my hands would go numb, so I couldn't feel the keys and I couldn't command my fingers to move.
Got it.
So the two things that are most important to me, my career and weightlifting, were really taken away from me.
What did you do?
I'm sorry?
What did you do at that point?
Well, I followed the what I call the regiments, where everybody gets, car accident, go to the hospital, you get the MRIs, they send you to a physical therapist, you go through physical therapy. I was in physical therapy for 6 months.
Right.
And they wanted me to stay another 3 months, and I was like, this is just not working. I had different epidural injections where they were hoping that just relieving the inflammation would make the disc go back to where it was,
right?
Which didn't sound right to me.
Right.
And so they said, okay, go the surgical route. So I talked to 5 or 6 surgeons out here on the Space Coast, and they all wanted to do the same thing, fusion. Everybody wanted to fuse me. And I'm, 36, was at the peak of my health,
right? And
losing the range of motion, I didn't want to do it. I knew I would never be able to lift the same way if I went that way.
Okay. You are very lucky, because we see people that have been through fusions left and right, and just a 1-level fusion can leave people with 65% failure, and a 2 or 3 level, you're looking at 85+ failure rate.
Absolutely. And in fact, one of the surgeons that I spoke to, my boss at the time, had gone to him to get the same fusion done on the exact same part of his neck, just 3 months prior to that.
Okay.
And I spoke to him and asked him how things were going with it, and he told me that it was great for 3 months, but now all of the symptoms had returned, and he couldn't move his head all the way around.
So it was even worse.
Yeah.
So the pain was still there, but now
much,
he couldn't move.
So
wow.
Unreal.
I was definitely absolutely no fusions.
Okay.
So I started looking elsewhere, and my wife's hairdresser said, "Have you talked to the Bonati Institute?" And she told my wife all about Dr. Bonati's procedures and his reputation for being just having perfect connection with the patients and treating the pain, not the MRI,
right?
Not the scans,
right?
So she came home and we talked about it and said, "Okay, let's try it out."
Right. And
my first experience with Dr. Bonati on the phone, because we were so far away, he did a phone consultation with me and was able to list off things that he saw in my scans that the other surgeons had missed. So he was telling me what the symptoms were, and as opposed to me telling him, and he was dead right on every single one of them.
So, and then he probably told you a game plan. Here's what we can do. This is how I can fix you. What did you take away from that conversation?
Well, I was really amazed. He kind of gave me the overall insight about how it would work, but he wanted to see me in person. He said it was very important to have that face to face. So,
correct.
We packed up and we went over, and the Institute itself was it was different than anything we had seen before. It was less clinical, more warm and like kind of soft and just a really nice place to visit. It wasn't stark white walls and all of, just bright white lights everywhere like you do see in a hospital setting.
Correct.
More inviting, yes.
And everybody was happy. All of the staff had positive attitudes. Everyone was smiling. It was very different from what we had experienced before.
Right.
So that was all a very good sign. And Dr. Bonati came in and he kind of did the same thing where he went through the MRI and told me what he saw.
Right.
And I would, say yes or no as to what it was.
Right.
If he was correct. And there was one time I got a little like, well, maybe. And he says, no. You tell me yes or no, because I'm going to cut you. I'm a tool. You guide me to fix your pain, but I'm going to cut you. So it impressed me that he did not want to do more cutting than was necessary.
Correct.
Where traditionally surgeons love to cut. I mean, that's their job.
You're right. So you're told about the conscious IV sedation. What did you think?
At first, I was kind of concerned about being awake during it, and then because he explained about how it works, but he gave me the reason why as to I need to guide him to where the pain is.
Yes.
And to fix it. So he only has to do absolutely what's necessary to solve it.
Mm-hmm.
And that impressed me. And then he did something I've never seen a surgeon do. He looked at my wife and said, I want you to be in the OR with him.
Okay.
And that kind of sealed the deal for me.
Okay. Because then your family and yourself, you're not being kept in the dark. So there you are, operating table. Did you watch?
Yes.
What'd you
What
think of
was
that?
that like?
Well, everything was really blurry because of the drugs, but I was very disconnected from the moment, like watching it on a TV screen.
Mm-hmm.
It almost looked like I was watching somebody else's,
Yes.
surgery,
Mm-hmm.
or just a bunch of red. That's what I remember most.
Okay. And do you remember him asking you to try to recreate your pain?
Yes, there were several instances where he says, okay, what do you need to do to recreate the pain? And, sometimes just moving my arm,
Right.
Straight up above my head or move my leg. And he would, step back and the surgical staff would help me put the body part in position.
Right.
And then I could test to see if it still hurt.
Mm-hmm. And when did you notice a relief of the pain that brought you in? I mean, of course, you're going to have surgical site soreness, but that agonizing pain that brought you in for surgery, when did you notice that lift?
After the first surgery, in my neck, the numbness went away.
Okay.
So I knew we were on the right track.
Uh-huh.
The second surgery was to address pain, and that cleared up the rest of the numbness and actually opened up the pathway more. So I felt the worst of all the discs. The pain was extremely intense after that.
Mm-hmm.
He got through the third one, and I was completely symptom-free, rolling out of the ER, or OR, not ER.
Isn't that great? So
it was wonderful. I mean, they asked me, do you have, pain meds that you can take after the surgery? And I don't need them. I'm fine.
Mm-hmm.
Perfect.
And are you doing any weightlifting again?
Absolutely. Three months after my last surgery, in August of last year, I was cleared to go back into the gym. And I've been lifting every day since, just as heavy as I was before. I haven't lost any range of motion.
Perfect.
I still have one side of my spine that I have to have Dr. Bonati fix.
Okay.
Still left over from the accident, but it hasn't hindered me as much as the other one did.
Got it.
And everything that he touched still remains pain-free.
Perfect. Can't ask for better results than that.
Exactly. And we love the photos. Thank you so much for showing us the photos as you are working out. Thank you for taking the time out of your day to let everyone know what your experience was like.
Then
Absolutely.
don't forget that the guarantee of the surgery ends tomorrow.
No.
He's kidding.
He's teasing.
Thanks
He's
for
a
coming on
jokester.
with us, Daniel.
But thank you so much, Daniel Stroshine from Titusville, Florida. Thank you for telling us your story of regaining your strength and getting back in motion.
Appreciate
All the
it,
best
Daniel.
to you.
Thank you, Dan.
Absolutely. Thank you.
All right, bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Great story.
Just another gleaming example of what the Bonati Spine procedures can do for you. If you have any questions, call 855-267-0483 or visit Bonati.com. Coming up, we'll have more. Make sure you stay tuned. We'll catch you on the flip side of the break. Revolutionary in his field, Dr. Bonati created, perfected, and patented the Bonati Spine procedures. Using his genius, Bonati invented precise tools necessary to minimize surgery, scarring, anesthesia, and recovery.
So successful are the Bonati Spine procedures, they consistently reflect over 94% patient satisfaction. 45,000 successful procedures have been performed exclusively at our location. Nearly half our patients suffer from failed back and neck surgeries at other facilities. Bonati succeeds where others fail.
This is the first time that I am pain-free after 18 years. And it's just wonderful. I love it.
Phenomenal results. No pain whatsoever.
My pain is virtually gone. Nothing short of a miracle.
Those surgeries gave me my life back.
Already, I feel like a new person.
I'm going home new. I can chase my grandbaby now. I can garden, I can cook, and I'm really thrilled. The outcome has been remarkable.
I feel 100% better.
It's like a miracle.
It was phenomenal. It literally did change my life.
I was in a wheelchair at that time, and I left here walking.
Every single pain that I had when I came here is gone.
I'm ready to go home and feel great. This place is great. Thank you.
Everything that they said they would do, they have done, and I'm very, very satisfied and happy with those results.
I knew in surgery, in fact I told the surgeon when he relieved the pain off the nerve.
The pain is gone. I'm feeling wonderful.
I have no pain. I feel better than I felt in 4 years from the surgery. It was almost immediate relief.
Today I am totally pain-free, which is just amazing. It's fantastic.
It definitely works. I mean, I really don't know what else to tell you. I'm happy.
Revolutionary in his field, Dr. Bonati created, perfected, and patented the Bonati Spine procedures. Using his genius, Bonati invented precise tools necessary to minimize surgery, scarring, anesthesia, and recovery. So successful are the Bonati Spine procedures, they consistently reflect over 94% patient satisfaction. 45,000 successful procedures have been performed exclusively at our location. Nearly half our patients suffer from failed back and neck surgeries at other facilities. Bonati succeeds where others fail.
You're listening to American Medicine Today, presented by the Bonati Spine Institute, featuring the internationally acclaimed inventor of the Bonati Spine procedures, Alfred Bonati, MD. Once again, here are Dr. Bonati and your host, Kimberly Brumell.
Thanks for listening to American Medicine Today. I'm Kimberly Brumell, joined by Ethan Euchre.
Happy to be here.
Jeff Wagstaff in spirit. We miss him. He's on vacation. And we have world-renowned orthopedic surgeon, Dr. Alfred Bonati of the Bonati Spine Institute.
I'm the senior fellow now.
You are.
Yes,
you are the senior most. Yes.
What do you mean the senior most?
It's more prestigious that way, right? Okay. Well, we're here on the line with Ernie Rivera, a.k.a. the real-life candidate, a Florida Republican who's running for U.S. Senate against Marco Rubio. He was at the Republican National Convention, unlike Rubio, and is going to give us some behind-the-scenes information as well as a preview of the race. So thanks for being here, Mr. Rivera.
Well, this is a wonderful experience, and thank you for having me on your show. American Medicine Today, it's one of the top-rated ones, so we're very, very glad to be on it. And just please call me Ernie, plain simple Ernie.
Okay.
All right, Ernie. Well, as we mentioned, you were at the RNC. Give us your take on it. I know you were quoted as saying that we're witnessing the birth of a new Republican Party. Explain what you meant by that.
Well, definitely my wife and I, we had been scheduled to do a bunch of appearances in Florida during that week, but had some friends call me up and says, Senator, you better get up here very soon because we need everybody's force over here to get this through. We're going to have, the birth of a new Republican Party. It's coming about where there's a changing of the guard.
Yes.
And I believe it's a time that's historically every certain period of maybe 30, 40 years, there are transformational changes that are required to renew the spirit and to renew. It's just like nature. Those of us that have been through hurricanes, we know that even though they're so disastrous and they're rough, they're difficult. We lived through a couple of them, my wife and I. But once it's through, all the old trees and the weeds are blown away, and there's the possibility of new birth.
Mm-hmm.
And that new birth brings new life.
I love the comparison. Weeds and old trees. They need to be cleaned.
They need
Yes.
to be
Well,
wiped out.
I don't want to be too facetious.
No, it's true.
I think you guys understand what I'm saying.
Yeah,
Yes.
absolutely.
It's very accurate.
So, what were your thoughts on the fact that Marco Rubio didn't show up, at least in person? He showed up via the big TV set. That was great. But
one would think something this historic,
he would be there.
You would want to be there.
Yeah.
Well, you guys shouldn't be so rough with him. He had an iPhone, like a terrorist cam presentation. Well, we were all laughing over there because definitely, a man that's going to address over 30,000 cheering Republicans and excited, and all of a sudden he comes out like if he were a hostage video. It looked like a hostage video, homemade, one of these. What do they call it? The kids call it a selfie, something like that, right?
A selfie video.
Yes.
Yeah, that's what it looked like. Here I'm in the bathroom, or God knows if he's in one of his phone parties or something, and he puts on this little video thing and says, "Well, look, I'm here," and I didn't believe it. Well, and the thousands of people around me, we started booing. I'm saying, why don't they respect our party?
Mm-hmm.
The worst part.
Party, right?
Yeah,
Yes.
but the worst part of it is if you are a man and you give your word of honor that you are going to support the candidate that is elected, your responsibility is put your body there, even if you don't like what happened, because that is honesty and that is loyalty. And the major trouble with these individuals that they didn't support Trump and they didn't appear in the convention indicates how poorly and irresponsible the group of politicians are in the country today. They just lied to you. And it's not only Hillary Clinton. It's also these individuals that they accept that they are going to support the main candidate and they didn't.
Doctor, I couldn't say it better than that. I think you have expressed it with your typical knowledge and wisdom. And let me tell you, the good thing of being a real-life candidate, I've never been a politician, and I'm not being funded by any of these goons. I can say and speak my mind as Donald Trump is doing, and I don't have to be politically correct. I can say things with respect because I'm disrespectful to people.
Correct.
But truth has to be said, and sometimes truth does bother people. And right now, our nation is heading into chaos. It's called anarchy, the lack of absolutes, and the new morale of saying, I give my word and I can back out of it anytime I want to. That's not giving your word. That's being a liar in my terms.
Exactly.
I have to ask, because you're of Hispanic heritage, and Donald Trump gets ripped to shreds about his stance on illegal immigration. What are your thoughts on that?
I'm 100% with Mr. Trump on that. I'm 100%, and I've worked 35 years. My wife and I were philanthropists. We help mission schools in the Dominican Republic, in Haiti, Puerto Rico. We've worked in Cuba and Africa. Well, we've served in many countries. So I think I have the authority to be able to say the words I'm going to say. The wall has to be 10 feet higher.
Right.
We got to be responsible. We have to be responsible with our borders.
Yes.
Last night, I was watching a video of a gentleman that went to the borders and did a film about it. And when you see it's a joke. A complete joke. This is Dennis Michael Lynch.
Okay.
Back in 2013, Dennis Michael Lynch, movie producer, computer whiz, a multimillionaire, self-made man from the trenches up, and you're saying, hey guys, listen to me. My son, my wife and I, we have only one son.
Okay.
His name is Ernest. He's a federal agent in Homeland Security, anti-terrorism, and he's in Dallas, Texas. My son's risking his life to save and to protect our nation.
Right.
How are we going to allow people to come in, bringing in all sorts of drugs? And I'm not saying they all do. Logically, Mr. Trump doesn't say they all do.
Right.
I love Hispanics. I am from a rich Puerto Rican Hispanic heritage. I love the Puerto Rican people. I love the Cuban people.
Right.
I love the Mexican people. I've served them with my heart. But we have a nation to protect. Every nation should have borders.
Correct.
And they should be enforced.
I think people...
The problem isn't the Hispanics. I think it's our politicians.
Correct. And it's the politicians getting so offended over the word illegal. He said he has no problem with people coming to this country legally. It's the illegals.
Correct. Well, Ernie,
That's
listen,
the
we're about out of time, but you're a Florida guy. We'll certainly have you on, especially before the election goes down in November.
And good luck to you.
And you can have our
thank you.
microphones every time you need it.
Perfect.
Well, remember, it's Ernie2016.com for those listening.
Okay.
Ernie2016.com, and thank you for having me on.
Thank you.
Well, thank you, and thank you for supporting the Republican nominee in this election. Thank you.
Amen.
All right. Have a good day,
Take care.
Ernie. Ernie Rivera, Ernie2016.com.
Well, make sure you stay tuned because this next guest coming up is going to talk all sorts of deception and the corruption following Hillary Clinton. Make sure you stay tuned. You're listening to American Medicine Today.
Revolutionary in his field, Dr. Bonati created, perfected, and patented the Bonati Spine procedures. Using his genius, Bonati invented precise tools necessary to minimize surgery, scarring, anesthesia, and recovery. So successful are the Bonati Spine procedures, they consistently reflect over 94% patient satisfaction. 45,000 successful procedures have been performed exclusively at our location. Nearly half our patients suffer from failed back and neck surgeries at other facilities. Bonati succeeds where others fail.
This is the first time that I am pain-free after 18 years. And it's just wonderful. I love it.
Phenomenal results. No pain whatsoever.
My pain is virtually gone. Nothing short of a miracle.
Those surgeries gave me my life back.
Already, I feel like a new person.
I'm going home new. I can chase my grandbaby now. I can garden. I can cook. And I'm really thrilled. The outcome has been remarkable.
I feel 100% better.
It's like a miracle.
It was phenomenal. It literally did change my life.
I was in a wheelchair at that time, and I left here walking.
Every single pain that I had when I came here is gone.
I'm ready to go home and feel great. This place is great. Thank you.
Everything that they said they would do, they have done, and I'm very, very satisfied and happy with those results.
I knew in surgery, in fact, I told the surgeon when he relieved the pain off the nerve.
The pain is gone. I'm feeling wonderful.
I have no pain. I feel better than I felt in 4 years from the surgery. It was almost immediate relief.
Today I am totally pain-free, which is just amazing. It's fantastic.
It definitely works. I really don't know what else to tell you. I'm happy.
Revolutionary in his field, Dr. Bonati created, perfected, and patented the Bonati Spine procedures. Using his genius, Bonati invented precise tools necessary to minimize surgery, scarring, anesthesia, and recovery. So successful are the Bonati Spine procedures, they consistently reflect over 94% patient satisfaction. 45,000 successful procedures have been performed exclusively at our location. Nearly half our patients suffer from failed back and neck surgeries at other facilities. Bonati succeeds where others fail.
You're listening to American Medicine Today, presented by the Bonati Spine Institute, featuring the internationally acclaimed inventor of the Bonati Spine procedures, Alfred Bonati, MD. Once again, here are Dr. Bonati and your host, Kimberly Bermel.
Thanks for joining us on American Medicine Today. I'm Kimberly Bermel, joined by Ethan Euchre.
Happy to be here.
And world-renowned orthopedic surgeon, Dr. Alfred Bonati of the Bonati Spine Institute. And he's holding his head because he can't quite wrap his mind around everything that's going on with Hillary Clinton. So because it's down to Hillary versus Trump and on to compare the contrast between these two, specifically on foreign policy, is Ken Timmerman, a Trump campaign national security advisor and author of Deception, the making of the YouTube video Hillary and Obama blamed for Benghazi. You remember that? Because I do. Thanks for being here, Ken.
Hey, thanks for having me on. It's a pleasure.
Yes.
Well, and of course, we're going to let Doc just kind of take over here in a minute. But your book, of course, focuses on Benghazi, which we'll talk about that a little bit too. But the takeaway is that Hillary is completely corrupt. She's totally crooked. And latest polls say she's in the lead, if you can believe those polls.
They're skewed.
They're always skewed. What will America look like if Mrs. Clinton takes over?
We'll have more Benghazis. We'll have more Iran deals. We'll have more ISIS, more terrorist attacks. Look at how the Middle East, just to stay in the Middle East for a second, look at how the Middle East is today compared to what it was in January of 2009 when she took over as Secretary of State and Obama took over as president. It's a complete mess. Violence in every country. Stable countries have now become havens of terrorism. Even in Libya, Gaddafi had been an ally with us in the war on terrorism, and now it's run by Al-Qaeda. So I think you'll just see more of the same.
It's not only the Middle East. Look what's happening right now in Europe. People are not going to Europe anymore because it's amazing the amount of these sudden attacks that they appear in London, in Paris, in Brussels. This thing is just scary.
Not only that, Doc, but the whole Iranian thing, whoever you want to believe on the whole thing, but it's basically a payoff. People are saying, oh, great, way to basically tell ISIS and other terrorists that there's a bounty on the head of every American that's traveling abroad. You know, we can kidnap them and get a payoff from the American government.
Yeah.
Only under this
administration. Well, that's right, and it's extremely dangerous. You know, I was actually in Nice the day before those attacks, and was on telephone with people during the night. It was terrifying what happened. And when you respond the way that we have done to ISIS, it basically emboldens them, makes them believe they can get away with anything. Dr. Bonati, you mentioned Europe. You know, don't forget, in Germany last week, there were 4 attacks in 1 week. Jihadi attack. So it is all over the place. ISIS is spreading. We now know that they are present with an organized presence in 18 countries around the world. 2 years ago, it was 7 countries.
But why is it that they keep calling them lone wolf attacks?
Kimberly, that's the way that this administration attempts again to deceive us. It is a deception. They are not lone wolf attacks. They are individuals who have been radicalized through organized systems. And we now know that ISIS communicates in a pretty sophisticated manner. They use a lot of encrypted communication, and they put out a lot of videos to radicalize individuals. The more the authorities start to investigate each one of the attacks, the more linkages they find back to organized ISIS. They just don't want to really tell us about it because it's bad political news for them.
Don't you think that they have to say that they're linked if they're really going to try to get rid of ISIS?
Well, this administration is shown it's got its head in the stand. They will not tell the truth. They try to pretend that Islam has nothing to do with these attacks, radical Islam. They don't want to talk about it. You cannot defeat the enemy, and I think this is something that Donald Trump has realized, unless you call it by its name. You have to understand that we are battling not just individuals, but an ideology. It's the ideology that's driving these individuals and these groups. You've got to call it by its name. It is Islamic ideology seeking to impose a worldwide Sharia caliphate.
Right. Why don't you tell us more about your book and how the Benghazi story is
completely
a very large
fabricated
deception, and it goes way beyond the YouTube video they tried to blame.
Right. Well, the Benghazi story is really kind of an example of Hillary Clinton's method of operating. Right. We realize now, thanks to the Benghazi Select Committee, that she spent 2 hours on the night of the attacks in a secure video teleconference with a bunch of political hacks from the White House, not seeing what they could do to rush reinforcements to our people in Benghazi who were then under fire, but how they could slow down reinforcements and ultimately stop them. 5 of the 10 talking points that came out of from that meeting were aimed at creating the cover story, the deception that I write about in my book, which is this YouTube video. The video was completely unheard of in Libya the night of the attacks.
Correct.
We find out, and I tracked how it went viral, we find out that it started to go viral 2 days later after the United States government started to promote it. And we promoted it. That's how it went viral. It was the U.S. government that promoted it.
Right. How was she able to ignore their pleas for help?
Well, Ann, weren't there forces at a base nearby that said, hey, we're ready to go. We can go. We can be there in minutes. And they told them to stand down.
Yeah, the stand down orders has been a subject of a lot of controversy. Certainly the CIA contractors who were minutes away, they wanted to go immediately. They were ready within 5 minutes, and the CIA chief of base told them to either to stand down, according to one eyewitness, or to hold in place. And ultimately, they violated orders and went there about 20 minutes later, but it was too late. The ambassador was already dead. So, that was not Hillary Clinton. That was the CIA chief of base. Hillary stood down the military forces that were gearing up, that were spinning up, and we know this from the emails that have been declassified, getting ready to deploy. She didn't want them going into Libya.
You have somebody like that puts Americans' lives in danger in other countries, and I can't even believe that people think she's fit to run this country and protect us.
What always sticks out in my mind is that famous quote of her being grilled about it. And she's like, what difference does it make now? It's like, well, they're Americans that died. It makes a difference to their family. Right. What I also find interesting, Ken, is how Google was a willing participant in helping this go viral. Yeah. Explain that.
Yeah, this is a fascinating part of the story, and something I wasn't expecting to discover as I was investigating this. Google, which owns YouTube, right? One of the actresses involved woke up the next day and she saw her face all over TV being blamed by the president and the Secretary of State for the deaths of 4 Americans in Benghazi. So she went to Google and said, hey, can't you take this video down? I'm getting death threats. People are calling me up in the middle of the night, threatening to do all kinds of horrible things to me and my children. Please take down the video. And they said no. And not only did they say no, we now learned that they were in communication with Hillary Clinton's office for quite, at very high levels in her inner circle. And they were coordinating to keep this video online. Google spent 2.5 years fighting this actress in court to keep the YouTube video online. Amazing.
But tell me, how is possible that the country still has this blind type of a knowledge to vote or start thinking and voting for Hillary Clinton? How is possible that the amount of people that they are involved in this political train, they vote for her? I mean, I just can't believe this. This is, to me, the country should be 100% on the side of Trump. 100%. Everybody who wants jobs, education, control of the immigration problems, control of the medical garbage that is today Obamacare. Why the people still is voting for her?
Well, she has on her side the biggest super PAC ever invented. It's called the left stream media. CNN, ABC, NBC, the whole 9 yards.
Why is possible that with that type of a unbalance on information from the right wing and the left wing, why we don't have more televisions or more
fair and balanced?
Yeah, but just have if they grant one radio television for the left side, should be the law that is in the other side the same type of a grant permit. So
be careful what you wish for, Dr. Bonati, because the left has tried to do that for many, many years. They call it the fairness doctrine. And trust me, we will lose. If you have the government get involved in that, we will absolutely lose that.
No, I'm not talking about the government involved. I'm talking about this enormous amount of economy that is the right side wing should be buying television, should be creating new televisions. So when because the fight is 6 different televisions against Fox.
Right.
All right.
And they all laugh at Fox, like, oh, Fox.
Yeah,
right.
Because they don't have the amount of power, neither the population reach. So what happened is they lie to the rest of the country with wrong information, and the people are so poorly educated on this civic type of knowledge that they do the wrong selection, the wrong election.
The great advantage that Donald Trump has shown, and it's the reason he won the primary, is that he knows how to leverage the media and to get beyond this media bias by being everywhere. And he's been very successful at this. It's really only been this past week when he's had when the media has gotten the better of him. And I believe this is because they laid a trap very conscientiously, very specifically in the coordination with the DNC and the Clinton campaign to entrap him with this guy, Khizr Khan, the Gold Star father. Trump fell into the trap, realized it pretty quickly and tried to back out. But that set in motion this whole machine that they had prepared ahead of time with 5-minute video clips and everything that they, the profiles of the son, his friends, his childhood sweethearts, all this stuff.
It was all fabricated.
But Khan was in charge of trying to let people into the country. Wasn't he part of that vetting process?
The father, right?
The father.
Khan,
yes.
Khizr Khan is a Sharia law lawyer, by the way,
lying
about Sharia law on national television, and then
deleting his website.
Yeah, he deleted his website. This was, I think, it was on Monday night. He wound up deleting his website because he'd been caught out.
Yes.
And now you don't hear anything more from him. So I think we've heard the end of Mr. Khan. Because he was caught lying. He said, "Oh, Sharia doesn't exist. This is a fabrication. It just means law in Arabic." What a bunch of hooey, and he knows it.
Exactly.
So he was caught out. But nevertheless, my point is, the media tried to get Trump. Trump saw the trap, and he backed out.
Right.
But we have to realize this is going to happen again. This is going to happen again.
Right.
And Donald Trump's genius is to basically play jujitsu with the media and turn it back around against them.
Yeah, till now everything is working, but we need to be very vigilant on all these type of actions because he never should change what he really is. He said the truth to the people. He speaks exactly what is common sense. I don't understand why the common sense is not getting to the country. That's the only thing.
You know, this talk could continue forever, and we truly enjoy you being on the program. Ken Timmerman, a Trump campaign national security advisor and author of Deception, the making of the YouTube video Hillary and Obama blamed for Benghazi. Thank you so much for sharing your time with us.
Thanks, Ken.
Thanks very much for having me.
Great information. Thank you.
Take care.
Thanks.
All right, bye-bye. Good stuff.
Make sure you stay tuned because we have more. You're listening to American Medicine Today.
Revolutionary in his field, Dr. Bonati created, perfected, and patented the Bonati Spine procedures. Using his genius, Bonati invented precise tools necessary to minimize surgery, scarring, anesthesia, and recovery. So successful are the Bonati Spine procedures, they consistently reflect over 94% patient satisfaction. 45,000 successful procedures have been performed exclusively at our location. Nearly half our patients suffer from failed back and neck surgeries at other facilities. Bonati succeeds where others fail.
This is the first time that I am pain-free after 18 years. And it's just wonderful. I love it.
Phenomenal results. No pain whatsoever.
My pain is virtually gone. Nothing short of a miracle.
Those surgeries gave me my life back.
Already, I feel like a new person.
I'm going home new. I can chase my grandbaby now. I can garden. I can cook. And I'm really thrilled. The outcome's been remarkable.
I feel 100% better.
It's like a miracle.
It was phenomenal. It literally did change my life.
I was in a wheelchair at that time, and I left here walking.
Every single pain that I had when I came here is gone.
I'm ready to go home and feel great. This place is great. Thank you.
Everything that they said they would do, they have done, and I'm very, very satisfied and happy with those results.
I knew in surgery, in fact, I told the surgeon when he relieved the pain off the nerve.
The pain is gone. I'm feeling wonderful.
I have no pain. I feel better than I felt in 4 years from the surgery. It was almost immediate relief.
Today I am totally pain-free, which is just amazing. It's fantastic.
It definitely works. I mean, I really don't know what else to tell you. I'm happy.
Revolutionary in his field, Dr. Bonati created, perfected, and patented the Bonati Spine procedures. Using his genius, Bonati invented precise tools necessary to minimize surgery, scarring, anesthesia, and recovery. So successful are the Bonati Spine procedures, they consistently reflect over 94% patient satisfaction. 45,000 successful procedures have been performed exclusively at our location. Nearly half our patients suffer from failed back and neck surgeries at other facilities. Bonati succeeds where others fail.
You're listening to American Medicine Today, presented by the Bonati Spine Institute, featuring the internationally acclaimed inventor of the Bonati Spine procedures, Alfred Bonati, MD. Once again, here are Dr. Bonati and your host, Kimberly Brumell.
Thanks for joining us on American Medicine Today. I'm Kimberly Brumell, joined by Ethan Euchre.
Happy to be here.
And world-renowned orthopedic surgeon, Dr. Alfred Bonati of the Bonati Spine Institute.
Hello.
Now it's time to see what Harry Reid, Nancy Pelosi, President Obama, and the Democrats have simmering in Washington, D.C. Let's see what's cooking in Barack's crock.
And there's an awful lot.
Indeed.
Right, Doc?
Yeah.
All right, well,
What you
take it
got?
away. What's been thickening up out there?
So, how is that the media reports that Donald Trump is not a suitable person to become the American president, and they allowed an instigator of masses becomes a president without really doing a properly bidding of this individual? So that's how Obama got elected. And now we're getting the same type of a situation with Hillary Clinton.
Right.
Now, let's talk a little bit about, I don't really understand why the the acceptancy that the media constantly talk about that Trump is not accepted by certain groups, and they talk about the women don't support Trump, the Hispanics don't support Trump, the blacks don't support Trump, and then never Trump don't support Trump. Right. Well, why don't we analyze a little bit this?
Right.
I don't understand. I understand that women in the country is an intelligent group. I don't understand why are being disoriented in their possibilities to select the right individual. For example, is the woman in a family interested in the economy of the family?
You would think.
Okay, if it is interested in the economy of the family, are you going to elect somebody who has no knowledge of how to manage any type of a business, who never managed any business, and this is the person who's going to be the president of the United States because she is a politician for 30 years? I think that is a wrong election. At the same time, are you telling me that the women are not interested in the education of their children? If the people are not interested in the education of the children, that surprised me. Now, are you going to allow common core to be the measurement of knowledge of the children that is practically a manipulation of the education of the children? And they are throwing children without probably learning how to read and how to speak? Well, I don't think the women wants that. Are you telling me that women are not interested on illegal immigration? Do they want to have their jobs removed by people that they are not legal in the country? Right. Or they want to have those attacks in the streets or individuals that they are not really suitable for this society because they are not properly bided to be on this country? Well, the other thing is, did women likes to have bad medicine, a socialized medicine? I don't think so. Right. So I still am so damn confused. Why women don't vote massive way for Trump?
Well, I mean, let's face it. It's a liberal media out there, and there certainly is a bias against Donald Trump.
Oh,
I, for one, am a woman, and I am voting Trump.
There's plenty of women that
I don't care if they think he's harsh.
Support for Trump. But
I trust him. I don't trust Hillary.
Well, a lot of women are going to vote for Hillary for the same reason that a lot of minorities voted for Barack Obama, because he's a minority.
Right,
and because she's a
why?
woman, so women are going to vote for her.
But just because you share the same body parts?
It makes no sense, and it's not logical
You don't
at all.
use your brain?
But it's reality.
This is what I am very, very puzzled.
Right.
Why? Okay? Now,
I don't know one thing she's done
Are you
for
telling me
women.
the Hispanics don't want to have a good economy? I mean, are you telling me that the Hispanics are going to come to this country and say, I want a bad economy, or I want to live from the miserable check that the government is going to send me for the rest of my life?
Right.
That is not right. Are you telling me that the Hispanic people allowed immigration to be not under control? They don't want to lose. Today, they have a position and a job. They don't want to lose that job because the ones that they are coming behind them are going to lower the price of the service to 1/3 of what they already been paid.
But in addition to that, you bring up pay. And all these women, I'm voting for Hillary. She does all this great, wonderful stuff for women. Why is it that she pays her women less? Donald Trump pays them more and has them in top power positions.
But you know how they can be so blind that they look at the system and they go, I am going to vote from Hillary, who is supporting every element of countries that they are paying her money,
Right.
but they don't have any respect for women.
Correct.
So something is screwy in all this thing. I don't understand.
Okay, and then they talk about polls. Polls come out, and they show Hillary in the lead, and all of a sudden, and I kept saying to you, we had many discussions, and I said these polls are so skewed, you can't pay attention to it. It's so ridiculous. All of a sudden, it comes out that there were 146 Democrats extra that they polled.
Oh, really?
So it wasn't an even playing field.
It never is.
Right. So you just go, come on.
Well,
and it's so skewed in their favor. You just look at it and shake your head, and you go, that's the corruption Donald Trump is consistently talking about.
But I don't really understand. Is these people blind, is dumb, or is just individuals that they are so corrupted that they don't really care about who is going to be responsible to manage the country?
Well, they just want the people responsible for giving them their freebies. That's what it comes down to.
Yeah, but the freebies are not going to last forever.
I know.
Okay, somebody needs to pay for those freebies. That's what happened. Yes. Look what's happening in Venezuela now. Venezuela was a country with an incredible amount of richness and a society that was solid and managed by Democrats. Look at the disaster that the nation is today.
We're out of time, but that's an important topic. And it will continue to be. Make sure you tweet at Dr. Bonati. Send questions, send comments. We love to have that feedback. And make sure if you're suffering with neck, back, or sciatic pain, you reach out to the Bonati Spine Institute, 855-267-0483, or visit Bonati.com. Thanks for watching.
Revolutionary in his field, Dr. Bonati created, perfected, and patented the Bonati Spine procedures. Using his genius, Bonati invented precise tools necessary to minimize surgery, scarring, anesthesia, and recovery. So successful are the Bonati Spine procedures, they consistently reflect over 94% patient satisfaction. 45,000 successful procedures have been performed exclusively at our location. Nearly half our patients suffer from failed back and neck surgeries at other facilities. Bonati succeeds where others fail.
This is the first time that I am pain-free after 18 years. And it's just wonderful. I love it.
Phenomenal results. No pain whatsoever.
My pain is virtually gone. Nothing short of a miracle.
Those surgeries gave me my life back.
Already, I feel like a new person.
I'm going home new. I can chase my grandbaby now. I can garden. I can cook. And I'm really thrilled. The outcome's been remarkable.
I feel 100% better.
It's like a miracle.
It was phenomenal. It literally did change my life.
I was in a wheelchair at that time, and I left here walking.
Every single pain that I had when I came here is gone.
I'm ready to go home and feel great. This place is great. Thank you.
Everything that they said they would do, they have done, and I'm very, very satisfied and happy with those results.
I knew in surgery, in fact, I told the surgeon when he relieved the pain off the nerve.
The pain is gone. I'm feeling wonderful.
I have no pain. I feel better than I felt in 4 years from the surgery. It was almost immediate relief.
Today I am totally pain-free, which is just amazing. It's fantastic.
It definitely works. I mean, I really don't know what else to tell you. I'm happy.
Revolutionary in his field, Dr. Bonati created, perfected, and patented the Bonati Spine procedures. Using his genius, Bonati invented precise tools necessary to minimize surgery, scarring, anesthesia, and recovery. So successful are the Bonati Spine procedures, they consistently reflect over 94% patient satisfaction. 45,000 successful procedures have been performed exclusively at our location. Nearly half our patients suffer from failed back and neck surgeries at other facilities. Bonati succeeds where others fail.